can they blend your old school barber feel with your favorite watering hole? Sink into a comfy chair, unwind with a complimentary drink, and let their master barbers handle the rest. It's not just grooming, it's an experience. Whether you're prepping for a big meeting, needing to get cleaned up before family comes to town, or just need a little time to yourself, Scissors and Scotch Lincoln delivers sharp style every time. Book now at Scissors and Scotch in Lincoln, just south of 30th and Yankee Hill Road.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Eustis Body Shop started as a single shop in Eustis in 1979. Since then, we've been getting Nebraskans back on the road. We treat our customers right and have never forgotten our roots, even as we've grown to 8 locations across the state. That's why Eustis Body Shop works hard to ensure our customer safety and offers free loaner cars to keep you moving. Eustis Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended Eustis Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
Surprise, surprise. Nick Wyman here alongside DeMornay Pierson-El here on Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to our regular scheduled programming today, DeMornay. We've been covering state basketball throughout the day. Girls state basketball starting, early break was from 6 to 9, then 9 o'clock till just, the last couple minutes. We've been covering state basketball all day. Been some pretty good games. State basketball, obviously, no matter where we're at in state, March is here. Kind of takes center stage. There's been a lot of really good games. A lot of good games over our airwaves as well. Kearney, first time winning a state game since 2008. They were down late against Lincoln Southwest, come back and win that game. Some good basketball, and we've been blessed to have really good coverage so far, and it doesn't stop there. There's plenty going on.
What's wrong with that? I think, around these times, it's definitely exciting in Lincoln. You kind of get to see all of Nebraska come on to a city and be under a microscope and, get to compete for some hardware and, put their name in history books.
Yeah, and it's cool to see. And we have, this is just the first day. This is the more quarterfinals tomorrow, semifinals Friday, and then Saturday championship day. And it's a fun time. But DeMornay, how you doing, my man? We talked 48 hours. We talked 48 hours ago on Monday night, and there was a lot going on in the NFL world. Combine just wrapped up, and here we are. Harrison getting out of here. You can see him in the background doing his thing. But how you been doing, my man?
Not too bad. Following all these moves within the NFL. So things are starting to pick up.
I think that's what we left off on Monday. We're like, there's a little bit of rumors about what could happen with Kyler Murray and some trades that could happen, whatnot. I think Kyler Murray is the one to talk about. Kyler Murray, we were talking what happens with him and the Cardinals? What do the Cardinals do and whatnot? he gets not officially released yet, but it sounds like that is what's going to happen with him, because he's the Cardinals are in a new era of their team, new coach, and he's kind of been there. He's been injured, but he's had some really good years, 2 Pro Bowl years, and now it's just curious what happens next, because it's, he's going to get the new league year starts on March 11th. Kyler Murray's out, and it seemed like a guy maybe the Cardinals wanted to keep around for a long time, but then injuries happen. He's not on the field. You have Jacoby Brissett filling in, and now he's no longer going to be a part of the franchise, which, think about it. He was drafted in 2019 quickly. Not even a decade later, he's already more than likely.
I mean, he's made it to a second contract. He's done, I would say, a lot for that organization. Now, every organization that drafts a player, kind of like that and everything like that expects, a championship or winning their division and everything like that. And he's, falling short on some of those ends. But from where they were to where they are now is night and day. Now, do they still need to come up out of things and everything like that? Yes. But, he's been a pretty consistent factor. I mean, you have a coach that's coming in with a, new ideology and whatnot. That are starting, fresh or whatnot, and he's going to see. You have a veteran guy with Brissett. The team looked a lot better. They performed a lot better. And as a coach coming in, I mean, you have hard decisions to make.
Yeah, and with Kyler Murray, I mean, we've seen it with Sam Darnold. Guys, your career is not over if you're off after your contract year with the team that drafted you. Your season's not over. Obviously, it's not as detrimental as Sam Darnold was with the Jets, his first team. But he's still, Kyler Murray shows flashes. Like, if you put him in the right system, I'm curious what happens next, because there are quarterback needy teams out there. It's just a matter of where the chip falls and where he ends up landing. Because if, in a league where you can find a quarterback who's stable and can be able to be on the field and be able to just make a couple throws a game, we've seen it with guys like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, not the flashiest quarterback, but if he gets the job done,
that part.
Gets the completion percentages up, be able to make some tough throws to a really good wide receiver. And there are some really good wide receivers looking for quarterbacks around the league. You can get Kyler Murray in a system like that. Sky's the limit for him.
Most definitely. I think what his issue might be, one, overall health. Two, how much, what is he going to demand? What is his agent going to try and pull out and fix? And, what is his market? So they have to kind of figure out that and figure out, what teams are willing to pay him for and whatnot. I mean, they gave Daniel Jones $37 million a year coming off of a torn Achilles. I mean, that right there, says you're only as good as you are as what you did recently. And recently, Kyler Murray's film hasn't necessarily shown too much productivity. So that's going to be an issue that his agent will definitely have to answer and provide, a better insight on.
Yeah, and with him, I mean, it depends on the destination. Like, you throw out teams like Minnesota. I mean, they have J.J. McCarthy, obviously. Then you have the Falcons, who have the skill guys. There's several other teams. It's just very curious where the heck he lands, because in the NFL, you know how it is. If you're going to go in there, he's going to be the guy. He's not going to be a backup. He's going to be playing on the field for one of the franchises in the NFL.
Most definitely. Again, where does he want to play? I mean, he's played in pretty much hot states his whole career, from A&M to Oklahoma to Arizona. So, I mean, he might want to get back to the state of Texas. I don't think that's going to be on board, but depending on what he demands, I mean, you might get to Florida. Miami might do some things. That might be an interesting thing, but it's going to be a lot. The quarterback market and free agency is definitely going to be something to keep an eye out this year.
Yeah, like it is every year, but this year especially, with a guy like Kyler Murray hitting free agency is a huge one. You have guys like Malik Willis, who's another interesting story, because he obviously was with the Packers, filled some room for with Jordan Love on the shelf. He's another one. It's going to be interesting what teams value. Do they value the experience, or, like Malik Willis, like, obviously came in, Liberty quarterback, ends up going to the Titans, a team that really didn't buy a whole lot. He was a third, fourth round pick, and they didn't really buy into him completely. And then next year, Will Levis is already on the team, and he's shown flashes at times, but he hasn't really had a chance to really prove it. Like, he had it last year at the Packers, but It's a very small sample size, which is curious, like where, how many years on a contract will be, how much money is there. That'll be very interesting.
But the thing about that, even with that sample size over the past 2 years and everything like that, has been very, very good because Jordan Love has gotten hurt a lot. And in pressure situations, he's handled things well. He's taken a team. So it's like for teams that don't have that, they've seen enough to move forward with him.
Yeah, that's exactly. I wanted to kind of shift gears. This morning, the Chiefs made a little bit of news. The Chiefs trading with the Rams to
McDuffie. Oh, my goodness.
To Los Angeles for a package that would include the 29th overall pick and first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. Full package trade. Rams received Trent McDuffie, an all-pro corner. The Chiefs got a first-round pick, which is this year's 29th pick, fifth-round pick, a sixth-round pick, and next year, third-round pick. So kind of out of nowhere. Like, obviously, the Chiefs have traded corners like Marcus Peters a couple of years ago. I say a couple like it was just yesterday, but no, it was almost I think that was in 2018. But kind of out of nowhere. Like, we were talking about the Chiefs the other day. We're like, they got to get some offensive line help to protect their guy when Patrick Mahomes is healthy. They trade one of their all-pro defensive guys.
I mean, they've done that multiple times. I mean, you've seen it with Peters, you've seen it with Snead just a few years ago and everything like that. They have an eye for picking up, guys that fit their system. Even not the main traveling corner, but Spagnuolo has an eye for guys that fits his system, that come in and when it gets time to pay him and everything like that, they just kind of go back to the drawing board. But I think the Chiefs definitely got the better end of the deal. Which, I mean, with him going to the Rams, that's another system corner. I think he'll do fine out there in the Rams systems and whatnot. But they gave one of their first round draft picks. I think the Rams also have another because they got one last year for trading. I think was it Atlanta or was it? It might have been. I forget exactly who it was with last year. But they need draft capital. They got there, and they're getting in for the next year or two to try and rebuild and tool or trade. So it's definitely something, and that they've been successful for a while, and it may be shocking to other people, but I mean that happened when they traded Snead away, and look what happened. They had McDuffie in the cooler, and he took off. So I'm not concerned by it. I'm not fooled by it. They're a successful organization for a reason.
And the Chiefs also, Jalen Watson is set to become a free agent this year too. So obviously the Chiefs are going to be in that cornerback market. There's some in the draft class as well. You go late first round. There's potentially somebody right there sitting for you. Look at the Rams side of things. The Rams, a team that kind of came up short against Seattle, not only in the regular season on that Thursday night football game at their place, but then in the playoffs, kind of kicking themselves had that game ended because if they get past Seattle, more than likely they're
winning the Super Bowl.
They're a really good chance. And now you're beefing up your defense, beefing up your corners. You have, Trent McDuffie's still a high level player. Obviously, you have to give up the draft capital for that. But the Rams are kind of in, hey, we have a roster still that can't compete at a high level. But we have some holes, and we're going to get an all-pro corner and just plug them in. And the Rams, the coaching's there, quarterback's there. You have good running backs. You got good wide receivers. And you still have a pretty solid Super Bowl window. So they add Trent McDuffie in there. It works out both ways, in all honesty.
Most definitely. I mean, since they've traded for Matthew Stafford, they've been right there. They've been knocking on the door. They've won it once. They're a few plays away from having multiple championships, and I mean that's after AD with AD, they're still operating at a high level. Their offense is a top offense in the league. Their defense fell short a little bit, but I mean they have again. They do things differently, and they have their own method figured out, and people have tried to, pick it apart and try and duplicate it. But year in and year out, regardless of whatever it is, they've remained one of the stronger teams in the NFC. And I mean, I expect them to be a Super Bowl contender easily.
And they're also, they let go of Jawan Taylor the other day on Monday too. So like they're a team that's letting go of two veteran players. And they'll, a lot of teams who do lose their veteran players, stuff starts to, shake out, and who knows what happens. But the Chiefs, like you said, They're a team that has a stable franchise. They know how to spend their money. They know how to hit on draft picks and be able to plug them in and still play at a high level and contend. The real question is, what is going to happen with Mahomes? Is he going to be ready for week 1? We don't know yet. Athletes recover crazy fast. They have the best doctors at their facilities.
There's no need to rush it, though.
Exactly. They can find a quarterback, too, as well.
You don't necessarily, you don't necessarily know, exactly. I can understand if this was 2 years ago and you're competing for not to say that they're not competing for Super Bowls because they just fell short because they were still in it till late in the season. But I mean, you have your guy, let him get healthy and everything like that. There's no rush to get that back. How many times have we seen players kind of rush back from injury and get re-injured? So I mean, Joe Burrow, for instance, I mean, they're still trying to figure out how to keep him healthy and protected. And this is, year 7. Year 7, maybe year 8, and I would say almost half of that time. I mean, he has at least 3 years of injuries.
Yeah, and that team was a team that made it to the Super Bowl real quick against that said Rams team, and everyone was like, "Man, this Bengals team, this team's they're still young. They got young Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and whatnot, and maybe this Bengals team is going to be a team that's going to be wrecking havoc in the AFC throughout the next couple of years." And since then, they haven't really been back. They've been to the.
I mean, they've gotten rid of a lot that got him there. I mean, Boyd left, Mixon left. It wasn't necessarily the same. The linebacker, some of their core guys on defense, Bates left. It hasn't been the same since that year right after.
Yeah, and that's just how the NFL works. I mean, we see it with teams come up and coming. I mean, look at the Commanders 2 years ago. Commanders were, right there, and then injuries happen and whatnot. We see it with the Bears this year. Bears, beginning of the year, if you would tell me the Bears were going to be what they were. Exactly. I mean, a lot of people are already out on Caleb Williams before then, and all of a sudden, look at that. That's just how the NFL works. You can't just base it off last year's standings because a lot changes. That Bengals team, a lot of people had them getting back to the Super Bowl, and they didn't make the playoffs the next year. That's just how the NFL works. It's crazy how fast teams can turn around. I look at a team the Bengals are a really good example. I'm trying to think of the Patriots this year. Patriots last year. I mean, everybody thought
we're different. You get the right coach in there that get the guys, moving in the right direction and everything like that, and you're off.
And they were a team where they were a trendy team where people I think I could see them maybe taking a wild card spot, not winning the division and being.
I mean, they won in the offseason. They won with hiring a very good coach that is a player's coach. 2, in free agency, they made the right splash plays to help a young quarterback and also to help their defense to where the trenches is where things happen at. You already have an all-pro guy. You bring in, a former Super Bowl champ that was with Tampa, the other corner, Carlton. You bring him in, and that you have 2 legit number 1 corners. Of course, Gonzalez is the guy and everything like that, but the other guy was also a number 1 corner at a point in time. So they hit big on free agency, making a lot of money, shoring up a lot of things and everything like that. They brought in an offensive coordinator to help out, a young guy. They brought in Stephon Diggs and all of these other weapons, and it just slowly but surely, they started stacking wins.
We'll stick with New England. Stephon Diggs is getting released, it sounds like, at the beginning of the year. They said releasing the 4-time Pro Bowler wide receiver at the league's new year. That'll be March 11th. The team informed Diggs of the decision to intend to release him at the start of the new NFL league year, as I mentioned. So that is a interesting one because this guy was brought in. They, was their number 1 wide receiver, and now he's gone after this year. It's a very, I don't know, you have him there. Obviously, he's kind of jumped team to team in the past couple of years, but you had him there.
This seems more so. I'm interested to see exactly how the off the field stuff kind of hangs out and whatnot. They haven't said anything or seen anything or whatnot. I mean, he's done everything that he needs to do, but that kind of feels like more so of that type of situation more so than he wasn't necessarily wanted back.
Yeah, and that plays a huge role. You look at
Or
Diggs,
they could be trying to get after. They could be going after AJ Brown and freeing up some cap space. So I could be completely wrong. Either way, it makes sense.
that's the beauty of the NFL free agency. You never know what teams are doing. They're 100 steps ahead of you. That's just how it is. But you look at Stephon Diggs' numbers. He led the Patriots in receptions, receiving yards, 85 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 4 touchdowns. You look at the roster. I mean, New England still has a solid receiving core. If you look without there, you look 3 guys currently rostered are Sean Booty, Mac Hollins, and Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas is a guy who kind of came out of nowhere and kind of really filled a role for them because they were kind of looking, they kind of had, 1 and 2 kind of set with Mac Hollins and Diggs. And then Demario Douglas is there and he's, leading them in receiving. And then they have also Hunter Henry there as well as a tight end. So they still have a very solid foundation from that Super Bowl team. It's just, Stephon Diggs obviously led them in catches and receiving yards, but it's still production you got to find and replace. And if you find a guy like AJ Brown or something like that, that just, pick and plug him right in there. And it fits right away like a glove. And then with that, I mean, it also could be salary cap too. This guy, we gave him a 3-year deal, but then you're opening up cap for more. And then that's just how the NFL works. But you also have these really young wide receivers. Mac Hollins is still really young. He's been jumping around the league, obviously, from he was in
team to team as well. But I mean, he's a teamer. He's a teamer type of guy. Like he's a solid additional to 2-year wide receiver. He's a vet for sure. He's consistent. He's reliable. He can play all 3 positions. He can go out there and play, give you reps at special teams and everything like that. He's a teamer. He's a teamer type of guy. Depending on what the free agency market looks like, also for the wide receiver market. I mean, there's, and I think there's some other names as we get closer to next week that will come out. Either they're getting cut or they're departing in free agency. Like, I mean, I told you necessarily on Monday. I mean, the DJ Moore situation. I mean, keep an eye out necessarily for what they're going to do with that. Obviously, they're going to try and trade him, but I mean, a lot of teams know, like, okay, well, if we don't take the trade right then and there, like, they're going to have to cut him, and we can get him, with not having to get up any picks at all. So, I mean, like I said, the AJ Brown situation, Tyreek Hill's a free agent. I know he's hurt and everything like that, but there's going to be, some moves to be made for sure.
I was going to throw out some of those wide receiver names. You got Tyreek Hill, obviously, DJ Moore situation, Tyreek Hill coming off injury, Rashid Shaheed, made a difference in the punt return game, some big catches for Seattle once he got traded from New Orleans. Alec Pierce is a guy with the Colts, kind of a sneaky kind of player. He's reliable. And then you have Mike Evans is kind of a big one that I haven't really heard a lot about him. Obviously he could end up back in Tampa. He kind of seems like a lifer in Tampa, just how things have been going, but you never know in the NFL. But Mike Evans, I mean, bona fide Hall of Famer, just what he's done.
First ballot.
I mean, he's so reliable. That's what I mean. That's what makes, if you're reliable and you continue to do that as you age, I just don't see how Tampa doesn't bring a guy like that back. He's been there forever. He's been through the bad times, bad years. He's been through the good times since they brought in Baker Mayfield. He's just so reliable. And, last year, obviously, gets hurt, ends his 1,000-yard receiving record for years and years and years. He's done it.
11 straight years.
Which is, improbable to do. Be out there for all those games, quarterbacks galore, Jameis Winston to Baker Mayfield, and in between. He's just so reliable. So I can't see a guy like that escaping Tampa. Tyreek Hill's an interesting one because of the injuries. I mentioned Alec Pierce just kind of threw him out. The Rashid Shaheed obviously was just on 2 teams his last calendar year. So the NFL, the wide receiver, and then didn't even mention AJ Brown. AJ Brown, who knows what happens to them? There's so many different ways these guys could land, where things could go. And like you said, next week will be, between now and next Wednesday, things are gonna start shaking up real quickly.
Oh, for sure. Most definitely. Like I said, there's this. I think the salary cap went up, I think 20 or 30 million from last year. I can't remember. I know it's either 20 or 30. I can't remember exactly which one it is.
It's still a pretty good jump.
Oh, for sure. So, you're going to start to see guys restructuring deals and everything like that. George Pickens, I know they said they franchise tag him and everything like that, but you never know. He can get dealt or traded somewhere. So, I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see how free agency kind of shakes out.
And it will be. Every day there's something new. We'll talk a little bit more about NFL, but we'll talk everything else going around in football. There's always news in football. And we'll talk about more of that when we come back here on 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Wyman, the Morning Pierson-El. We'll be right back.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Stop into Zollner Florida Beatrice for Truck Month. Check out 0% financing with approved credit on all F-150s excluding Raptor. Or save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 SDX and XLT models in stock. Check out many service specials as well. $20 rebate on the Works package or up to $50 off new brakes and rotors. Maverick, Ranger, Super Duty, F-150 or Bronco. It's Truck Month at Zollner Florida Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Good morning, Breakers. This is Scott Miller from Midwest Bank. When I recently joined Midwest Bank, I was immediately impressed by our exceptional service. My first customer made the switch from a large corporate bank and didn't have to wait in line or call a 1-800 number. We treated him like family. He now visits the bank just to say hello. While other banks go corporate, we stay Nebraska. Visit us at midwest.bank or drop by a branch today. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
If you're a farmer, you need to hear this game-changing news about crop insurance. It's now possible to protect up to 95% of your farm's revenue, not at the county level, but down to your individual fields. At Trados, we help farms design protection that works with their marketing plan, not in isolation. The key isn't buying another product. It's understanding how coverage, grain marketing, and your operation work together. As hail and wind rates continue to increase, now's the time to ask better questions. Call us today or visit gotrados.com to start protecting 95%. That's GOTREDAS.com. Trados, ingrained in your success.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
Welcome back. Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Pierson-El here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. If you're watching on Facebook, X, YouTube, or Allo Channel 971, truly appreciate you here on this evening where we've had state basketball coverage all day, but now we're back to our regular scheduled programming. We're one of the first people to actually talk about Nebraska sports, NFL today, because Early Break had their segment. Bach and the Black Shirt had a very, an hour, and then Old School had an hour, and now we're back. So that's the benefits of having a 10 o'clock local time show, DeMornay. You get to be basketball's all wrapped up, and you're right back here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. I mean, if you're a night owl and you ticket weeknights, we have a very good, strong listening at this time of the day, and that's just how we roll, and that's just what we do. I wanted to shift gears to the college ranks. Nebraska today, quarterback Anthony Calandria spoke to the media for the first time as a member of the Nebraska football team. We've obviously heard, like scrums and whatnot, but he finally got a presser today, and they kind of talked about like what he's learned and what his goals are here and what he wants to accomplish. He talked about that. Danny Kaelin also talked about his kind of return. Like, you don't really see a guy enroll in a school, leave, and then come back. Obviously he's from Bellevue West, played, he's up in the Omaha Metro. That happened. And then Glenn Thomas obviously talked to the media. A lot happened, but Calandria's biggest thing is they kind of talked about how he brings energy and brings kind of a swagger to the offense. I mean, obviously it's spring right now. That's where you put everything together. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Just, I guess, what do you want to see out of Anthony Calandria, and not only him, but also this quarterback room? Because obviously Calandria is the leader in the clubhouse. That's just how it's going to be. But you also have a guy like TJ Lateef who's stuck around, who has 5+ games under his belt, and you have a guy like Danny Kaelin who didn't get playing time when he first enrolled at Nebraska. Kind of goes out to Virginia, plays there, gets some playing time, kind of reinvents himself, figure out what he can do, what he can work on, and what he can do better. And now he's back. I guess, what do you want to see out of this quarterback room, not only during spring, but as the season vastly approaches? We're sitting here in March, spring games in like 3 weeks, and then fall camp will be here before we know it.
Hearing that and swagger and everything like that, you're gonna hear the good. So with those guys, they're veteran guys. You have a younger guy coming back in year two. A commanding presence. Mm-hmm. To understand where things are going to be, how things are going to look, take control of the offense. Making things right. I think I know they say that, or people think that it's the guy that they brought in and everything like that. I think this is going to be a quarterback competition all the way to fall camp. I think it will get to about week 3 when this thing is done. Danny's been here. He's a little bit more familiar with the offense. He's familiar with a lot of people that's in the building and everything like that. He has a rapport built with them. That matters. You have a guy that, it may take some time for guys to kind of warm up to and everything like that. So from the room, like I said, that taking command of things, making things right. Whether if that's checking plays, whether if that's, making sure everybody's lined up, no necessarily weak links, moving one as a whole. I think we're definitely going to need that moving forward, especially with, just the things that have transpired this offseason. We had a guy that was the face of the program, and now you kind of got to go back to the drawing board and see. So whether it's juice, whether it's, accuracy with making plays or making plays with his feet, whatever it is, the guy who, gets the job and everything like that, making sure that they're the right guy for the job.
Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting, because you have obviously Calandry is the most experienced guy. What also makes it interesting is he, as a guy, kind of reinvented himself. Virginia happened. He had a solid freshman year, broke a lot of the freshman records there with the Cavaliers' his football program. Has turnover issues. He mentioned that today too. Hey, I had a problem holding on to the ball at times, and that comes with, getting snaps under your belt. He leaves Virginia, goes to UNLV with Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen, he also mentioned, he's heard from guys like Tim Tebow and Dak Prescott, guys who Dan Mullen learned under.
Yeah.
Guys who are very successful at the collegiate level. And he, he gave Dan Mullen a lot of credit. Obviously sometimes when a guy transfers, it's like, maybe things didn't work out for me at this school and the coaching staff just didn't, maybe I got benched and maybe I lost my job and, they lost trust in me to be the guy who, can hold the ball for the program. But he gave a lot of credit to his former coach. Dan Mullen, a guy who, was coaching, obviously ended up going in the broadcasting for a bit, returned to the sidelines this past year at UNLV and had a really successful season with them. And, to see him not have any like bad blood toward a program that he spent, 14 games with, it was really, surprising because you don't really see that nowadays in college football.
I mean, you don't. And I mean, it's good that you can speak, on things on you can speak good about, places where you're at. You don't want, a guy to leave and trash and everything like that. That's a different division. That's, different level of stuff. So it's going to be a challenge, here, and hopefully, he's up for it.
And then you have Danny Kalen. We switch gears to him. This is a guy, obviously comes to Nebraska, local area, just down the road in Omaha, up the road, I should say, in Omaha, comes down to Lincoln, and, ends up being a backup quarterback, third string quarterback. Obviously was committed to Missouri in high school for a bit, ends up decommitting, goes to Nebraska, and then goes to Virginia, and he gets to play in 7 games, being in obviously wasn't the starter. Chandler Morris was the guy there. Obviously another veteran quarterback, played at TCU before then. And then Danny Kalen's able to play in a sparring role, 339 passing yards, while also scoring his first collegiate touchdown. He proved to be a threat on the ground. He had, very slim playing time, 12 carries for 72 yards, but he was able to get some reps under his belt. And then you have TJ Lateef. He's the other one. He's a guy, kind of got thrown to the fire against USC, blackout game. Dylan Raiola goes down. You're sitting on the bench for, 2.5 quarters. Hey, go get him. See what you got.
As I said, I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think. It's going to be. I mean, if you recall, the fall camp Danny had, he was neck and neck with Raiola. I think a fire has definitely been lit, under him and everything like that. Again, he's been here. He understands what it is. He not to say that the other quarterbacks haven't. But I think he's going to be an interesting factor. You don't come back to a place that you've come from for no reason at all to not play. Like, I understand, like, oh yeah, like he's going to get every chance to kind of go out there and see what things. Same thing with Lateef. Lateef, was injured late in the season and everything like that. Young guy and everything like that. I think right now, spring ball will kind of give a chance for the transfer guy to kind of understand what they want to do and everything like that, and see how kind of it looks, feels, and everything like that, and then closing the gap with everybody else, because everybody else has been in the system. Everybody else knows what's expected, knows the plays and everything like that. So the transfer guy coming in is the least experienced with this offense. So everybody else knows it. So come, I think fall camp, like I said, I mean, it's going to be, a horse race, and you literally have to show up consistently day in and day out. I think it's going to be one of those type of, competitions all fall camp.
And you hit it right on the head. Danny Kalen, this is a guy, obviously enrolls, I'm committed to go to Missouri, decommits, comes to Nebraska. And you said it was the battle. There was a lot of stories coming out of that when, hey, he was neck and neck with Dylan Raiola, which, obviously didn't win the quarterback competition or whatnot, but hey, you were close. You could hang with the guy. And then obviously that doesn't work out. Leaves, goes to Virginia, where he's in another quarterback battle with a veteran guy like Chandler Morris, who has proven that he can play big time Power 4 football with TCU. Things just didn't work out there. Leaves, Josh Hoover takes his spot. battles with Chandler Morris, kind of in a similar situation 365 days ago with Virginia. Obviously doesn't win that job, plays sparingly with the Cavaliers, and now he comes back to Nebraska where he's in yet another quarterback competition. He's, obviously
you don't come back here if they're not gonna if you don't think they're gonna give you a fair shot. That's just me being realistic.
Yeah, because if I'm going to go back and I'm just going to, sit the bench as I'm just a utility guy just in case if something happens to player A and player B. He's here to compete. And that's, he has that fire lit inside of him. Obviously he went 0-2 with quarterback battles. Third time's a charm. And you have a chance to really push guys. And I think that's the biggest takeaway of this quarterback room is you have guys, on your neck. Like if you play bad or you have a poor performance, they got two other guys right there just to pull out of the bullpen. You don't want
this quarterback situation, honestly, and I'm saying this earlier. It reminds me a lot of bringing the quarterback in from UNLV. It reminds me a lot of kind of the Jeff Sims type situation to where, and I'm not saying that he can't throw. I'm not saying that he can't read defense. I'm not saying that his hands are too small for the ball. I'm not saying any of that, but if you kind of go back and look at that team and look at, who was in the backfield and everything like that, they wanted the ball in Jeff Sims' hands to make something happen with his legs. I kind of feel that same type of energy with this quarterback. If things breaks down or whatnot, like he has the ability to escape. If you turn on his film and everything like that, he's flashy and uses his legs a lot. With them not adding a running back and relying on what they have in the room and everything like that, I get that feeling of if it breaks down, use your legs to make a play type situation. That's just me being honest.
What also is unique about all three guys kind of bring a different style of football.
That they do. And they all can run.
Yes.
Some are better at it than others, but they bring versatility. You have a versatile room.
Exactly. If Calandry is going to be the guy, the improviser, he can run. He can, throw on the run. You have Danny Keelan, more of a pocket passer, but he has the intangibles to make plays with his legs. And they have TJ Lateef, who's more of a runner, but he can make throws as well. We saw that throughout the year. UCLA, first career star, comes out there, makes some throws. He has Emmett Johnson back there. And then we see him run the ball, have a couple touchdowns in some of those games against Penn State and whatnot. So I think that's the biggest thing is like, what is Nebraska's identity? What do they want to be on offense? Because you have three different quarterbacks, three different kind of styles. Which one fits Dana Holgerson's scheme and whatnot? Because you have to have some kind of identity in college football to be successful. You can't just flip the script. We're doing this now. You have to have an identity.
And it's going to be interesting to see what that is, because I think for two of the quarterbacks, you can call a very similar play calling. For one of them, it'll definitely be different.
Yeah, it'll be interesting in the spring game. I think we'll learn a lot. Obviously,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think maybe the first 20 to 25 plays might be, really live. They're not going to show too much.
Talk a little bit about that from a player's standpoint in the spring game. What was it like?
It's a watered down practice. I mean, the first, like I said, the first two series. Like you might see some stuff and everything like that. Like, okay, this is kind of real. Anything I would say probably after the first quarter, no.
So it's like an NFL preseason game where the starters are getting the reps, but then obviously in the preseason you're trying to make a roster spot after third string, fourth stringers come in there. But in college,
you're getting it. I would say it's similar, but you're definitely getting stuff on film to see what stuff is, how it looks. And everything like that. It's a lot of reps at just being in the right position, especially with a lot of new coaches on the defensive side and the offensive side. You want your teams to have a lot of reps at the basic stuff and do the basic stuff, bread and butter, very well, or at least decent enough.
All right, we're going to go to break. We're going to wrap up the show on the other side. Good morning, Pierson-El. Nick Wyman here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Doug Keller. When I started my first little body shop in Eustis back in 1979, I never dreamed it would grow to 8 locations and over 100 employees in Nebraska. I knew then, as I know now, that if you treat people right, they will keep coming back and also send their friends, which is why our tagline is, where our customers send their friends. I guess there are many things in life that change, but the golden rule never does.
The most recommended Eustis Body Shop. That's who we are.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln and their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe. There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual Street Festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P. Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program. Here is your host, Pierson-El.
Welcome back. Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Nick Wyman, located in 1040 O Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, alongside Pierson-El here as we close out the show on this Wednesday evening. Go back to the NFL. Aaron Rodgers. He's always a topic of discussion, no matter what time of year it is. I feel like there's a part of the offseason where he is the come-all, be-all for topics of NFL. He kind of hinted at maybe he's not returning. I don't believe it I don't believe any second of it. I feel like there's a part of the we're at the part where there's releases and trades and whatnot after the Super Bowl and whatnot. Then we have a 5-day gap of where Aaron Rodgers is this is the about me 5-day span. I think we're at that moment, DeMornay, where that starts to take over the news cycle, and it's a whole nothing burger at the end of it.
I mean, he's done the same thing, honestly, since leaving Green Bay. He doesn't want to be in a situation that Green Bay put him in, point blank and period. So he's going to wait out his options and see where the dust settles, who doesn't go after a quarterback, and that'll wait on him, and that way he can pick his destination.
I think him going to Pittsburgh last year might have been the worst kept secret in the National Football League.
For sure. I mean, you having McCarthy there, that helps, unless them two are on some type of beef. You don't know, how that is or whatnot. I mean, honestly, if I'm him, sometimes you got to put your pride to the side, and I know it won't. But if he goes to a place like Minnesota, they might go to the Super Bowl. But I think his pride is too much, and KOC is not going for that.
It'd be interesting because he'd fall in the Brett Favre situation where he's a Packer and then a Jet. Obviously, you throw out the Steelers in there, but you'd be the Packer, the Jets.
I mean they will have a Super Bowl contending defense, and that is something that, I mean, Pittsburgh was cool. That wasn't a Super Bowl defense.
No,
the Jets were good. That wasn't a Super Bowl defense. Minnesota is going to have a top 7 defense that legit can do what New England did, can do what Baltimore did a few years ago, or the Broncos did, and Seattle. They're going to have a defense like that. They have weapons on the offensive side. I just don't know if him and KOC will match, just because I mean, Aaron's gonna kind of I know it all type situation. Which you can't be mad at that because he's seen it all.
Do you think the Vikings? So you think the Vikings are just one quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contending team?
Yeah.
I mean, they were with Sam Darnold, and then
they won 14 games. That doesn't happen. I mean, and then you let the guy leave, he goes and wins 14 more in another organization, and yet you don't. So yeah, you were one guy away. You had him.
Who do you think the best Vikings situation for quarterback is? Obviously, they have Jaden McCarthy on roster, but free agent. Who do you think, before we get out of here, who do you think is the guy? Because there's Kyler Murray out there, you have Aaron Rodgers out there, you have.
It depends. Are you going for the future, or do you want to win right now?
I think they're in win right now. I mean, you have the guy.
I would go for Aaron because, I mean, it's going to be a 1 or 2 year deal, and he's going to have the most success right now. If you want to build for the future and everything like that, do what you need to do with JJ and go after Malik. Malik was in the same offense. He can run. He can use his legs. He's accurate. He can make every throw. Your quarterback's going to be happy. That you can use that and build for the future.
And they're in a division where the Lions are still there. You have the Packers who are still competing.
Which he knows the conference. He knows the defense. It's the same exact offense. Exact same Sam Darnold situation.
Yeah, and they better hit it on the nose, or else they're going to be.
Do you want more so now? And if it's now, go after Rodgers. It is what it is. He gives you, if he wants to, I would say sign a 2-year deal. I don't know if he will, but I would say sign a 2-year deal. That gives you 2 years to build something. People are going to want to come and play with him there. And if you don't want to win now and build for the future, then go ahead and go after Malik Willis. Because, I mean, you're not in a position to draft somebody. JJ, I mean, time's running out.
Mm-hmm. And they have to make a decision. They have to make it. You can't just be on the fence with it.
Somebody's already been fired once for that decision. Like, do you think they're going to sit on that and let that continue? Like, unless JJ comes and he shows up exactly what they think and things turn around and change, I don't know. If that happens, then yeah, he'll be fine. But if not, at some point in time, it's either going to be a trade. If this is year 3, maybe next year, if the same thing, I mean, they're going to decline his 5th-year option, and at that point they're moving off of you.
It's a win now league too, so you have to win now. That's just
their patience is really, really thin. They've already fired a GM who was doing a phenomenal job there,
and they've been competitive regardless who the quarterback is. Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, and whatnot. And then you start having a couple bad years. Things start to kind of trickle down and out of control. And it's like that meme where the fire is going on and everything's all fine. You need to put out
for sure. So it depends on, like I said, how does that coach feel necessary to protect his job?
It's the NFL, the wild world. By sometime tomorrow morning, something else will happen. That's just how it is. It's a news-driven league, and that's just what it is. So that is all we have for tonight. DeMornay, thank you for joining me. Late Night Lincoln come up next. Obviously, State basketball tomorrow again. So it's a stacked schedule. It's like the Mount Rushmore. DeMornay, Pierson-El, State basketball, and Late Night Lincoln. You can't ask for it. But hey, thank you for joining me. I truly appreciate it, DeMornay.
Anytime.
And you have a great night, man. We'll be right back. You're on 7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.